Busting common myths. The fear around creatine is almost entirely based on one bad study and a misunderstanding of basic biology. So let's clear it up. Despite having one of the strongest safety records of any supplement, creatine is still surrounded by persistent myths. It supposedly destroys your kidneys, causes hair loss, leads to dangerous dehydration, and is essentially a steroid in disguise. None of these hold up under scrutiny. In this final video, we look at what the evidence actually says and clarify who genuinely should be cautious. So let's start with the overall safety record. Creatine monohydrate has been studied in clinical trials for over 30 years across healthy adults, older populations, children with metabolic disorders, people with neurological conditions, and elite athletes. The consistent finding is that creatine at recommended doses is safe for healthy individuals. The International Society of Sports Nutrition concluded in its position stand that creatine monohydrate is the most effective ergogenic nutritional supplement currently available and that it's safe and well tolerated at recommended dosages. The baseline assumption, based on the evidence, should be safety rather than suspicion. So let's talk about the kidney concern. This is the most persistent concern and it deserves a clear answer. Creatine metabolism produces creatinine as a byproduct, which is filtered by the kidneys. Elevated blood creatinine is typically used as a marker of reduced kidney function. So when creatine users show high creatinine levels, alarm bells go off. But the rise in creatinine is expected and does not indicate kidney damage. It simply reflects more creatine being metabolized. Studies that use more sensitive kidney function markers consistently find no evidence of damage in healthy individuals, even in studies lasting up to 5 years. The real caveat is pre-existing kidney disease. If your kidneys are already compromised, creatine places additional load on them and should only be used under medical supervision. For people with healthy kidneys, the evidence does not support the concern. Let's talk about dehydration and cramping. The concern here is that because creatine draws water into muscle cells, there's less water available elsewhere. This, people think, can lead to dehydration and cramping. The reasoning sounds plausible, but it doesn't hold up. Total body water does not decrease with creatine supplementation. Studies actually consistently show that it increases. Blood volume and hydration markers remain normal. As for cramping, a large study following college football players over 3 years found that taking creatine actually had fewer incidents of cramping, dehydration, and heat illness than those who were not taking creatine. Creatine does not cause dehydration. So let's move on to hair loss. This comes from a single 2009 study involving 20 college rugby players, which found creatine increased levels of dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, a hormone associated with male pattern baldness, by around 56% relative to baseline. That study did not actually measure hair loss. It measured a hormone, and that study has never been replicated, and other research measuring DHT in creatine users has not found significant changes. So one small, unreplicated study showing a hormone elevation with no direct measurement of hair loss should not be strong evidence of a causal link. If you have a strong family history of male pattern baldness and are concerned, that's a reasonable personal factor to weigh in. But the science does not currently support the claim that creatine causes hair loss in the general population. And now, let's talk about weight gain and bloating. Weight gain when starting creatine is real, but it's often mischaracterized. As covered in video 2, creatine draws water into muscle cells. In the first 1 to 2 weeks, body weight typically increases by around 2 to 4 pounds. This is intracellular hydration, not subcutaneous bloating. And it does not cause the puffiness associated with sodium-related water retention. So for athletes competing in weight class sports like wrestling or boxing, this initial gain is worth factoring into your timing around competition. But for everyone else, it's not a concern. So it's important to think about who should be cautious. For healthy adults, the evidence strongly supports creatine safety. A few groups should take additional care. People with pre-existing kidney or liver disease should consult their doctor first. Pregnant or breastfeeding individuals are advised to avoid it due to limited safety data. And anyone on medications that affect kidney function should discuss it with their prescribing physician before starting. Children and adolescents are generally advised to prioritize nutrition and training over supplementation. There are clinical applications for creatine in certain pediatric conditions, but recreational use in young people is not recommended without professional guidance. So that brings us to the end of our 4-part series. We have covered the biochemistry, the performance and health benefits, how to use it, and now the safety evidence. So the overarching message is this: creatine is one of the most extensively researched, consistently effective, and demonstrably safe supplements on the market. For people engaged in resistance training, high-intensity sport, or those looking to support healthy aging, the evidence is genuinely compelling. If you have a specific medical condition, that conversation belongs between you and your healthcare provider. Thanks for watching.